Welcome, guys. Let's talk more about Qigong. So we got a few more questions, some from email, some from subscribers. By the way, I really appreciate you guys asking questions and, sending me topic suggestions because, when I'm filming this podcast, I'm basically talking to myself. It can get pretty boring. So at least when you're sending questions, I feel like I'm talking to somebody, so that's cool. Anyways, let's get started. So the first question comes from email, and as usual, if it's not a YouTube comment, I don't read the name. The first one is Qigong the same as Zen? Is Qigong the same as Tai Chi? And you keep saying Heaven Mountain. What is that? Thank you for everything you do, and I hope you answer my questions. I will answer your questions, and thank you for sending in the email. Okay, so is Qigong the same as Zen? Yes and no. It depends on what do you mean by Qigong, right? So I said this in another episode, so I don't want to waste everyone's time that already heard it. So I'm going to try to do a faster version of this, right? In original Taoism from the Zhou dynasty, it's basically sitting practice, non-doing sitting practice. And once you get to the Qin dynasty, they started to add non-doing standing practice, along with moving practice. So now we got moving, standing, and sitting. By the Han dynasty, a little bit down, you turn into internal alchemy, usually sitting methods, some standing, which is a progressive doing practice. The doing and not doing, both objective is to merge with the Tao, which maybe we can talk about a little bit later. And then by the time 600 years later, it got to the communist era, the spirituality or the esoteric part of this Taoist practice was taken away by the government, and they leave us with just the physical chi boosting part, but no spirituality, which is the standing and moving part. And that was renamed. And the name they gave it is Qigong. So when you ask about Qigong, if we're going to be very, very specific about it, you're really asking about the standing and the moving. But as you know from what I said earlier, Taoism, original Taoism, contains Han Dynasty doing version of sitting, and also Zhou dynasty, the earliest non-doing version of sitting. So when you ask, is Qigong the same as Zen? The answer is no, if you want to get very, very precise. And when it comes to practice and teaching, I'm a true believer of being precise. That way people don't spend 10 years chasing after something that they think will give them a very specific benefit when it wasn't even designed for that. So standing and moving practice in Taoist tradition is mainly to boost your physical energy, which is your immune system and your gut bacteria, known as your dantian or your lower center, right? The sitting practices has two main objectives. One is the heart center or the middle dantian. And then the next one is your third eye and your heaven's gate, which is your upper dantian, right? And the purpose of this one's emotional healing. The purpose of this one's merging with the Tao, or the highest level. These two are considered spiritual, and this one's considered physical, more physical. So 70-30 here, 70-30 here. So nothing is 100%. It's more like the yin and yang. The black contain a dot of white, and the white contain a dot of black. So Zen is really about the non-doing sitting. In fact, scholars have suspect and also argue that original Zazen, the main practice of Zen Buddhism, which is non-doing sitting, actually came from Zhou Dynasty Taoism, sitting and forgetting, that anyone can read about in the Chengzu, because the practice is almost identical, right? So when you ask, is Qigong Zen, on a very, very specific, if you want to really get into it, then no, it is not. Zen is non-doing sitting. Qigong is mainly standing, moving, and also standing still, not moving, for physical energy boost. Although Qigong has also been vaguely used as an umbrella term, which is what I do, that contains lying, sitting, standing, and moving. And I use it for all as an umbrella term. I am fully aware that's not specific and is actually not correct. The reason why I do it is just so Google and YouTube can actually find me on a search word, or you'll never be able to watch this clip. But I always kind of correct that right away, like I'm doing now whenever I'm on air, which is not precise, right? Okay, I hope I answered that. Is Tai Chi Qigong? Yes and no. As we say, if we're going to be very specific, Qigong is about boosting your physical Qi. Does Tai Chi does that? Hell yeah, it definitely does that. Tai Chi is amazing for that. But is it technically Qigong? Yes and no. Because if you're doing Qigong, there's a lot of opening of the pores, opening of the bone, projecting lines of energy, different breathing, inflating the body, rooting the ground, aligning the bones, and many, 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 many more things that I'm not going to get into right now. Tai Chi, if it's good Tai Chi, high level or middle level Tai Chi, does all of these things, known as the internal power elements. So is Qigong Tai Chi 100% yes, because they do all these elements. The reason is the founders of Tai Chi has studied Taoism and Qigong, and they integrated with Shaolin boxing to create Tai Chi. And that is the founding story of Tai Chi, but it's a myth. Is it really what happened? We'll never know because we don't have a time machine. However, we know concretely the internal mechanics of Tai Chi and Qigong are very intertwined. Therefore, I believe Tai Chi is a form of Qigong, at least in the respect that it gives it the same benefit of physical energy boosts and also calming the mind, which is really good for the central nervous system and, of course, your immune system. Now, but is it 100% Qigong? Then the answer is no. The reason is mainly this. Qigong, at least from a Taoist tradition, where all Qigong comes from in China, is mainly concerned, well, actually Confucianism had its own version of Qigong, so does Buddhism, but that's later. But the original Chinese Qigong all came from the strand of Taoism. And Taoist Qigong, at least in ancient time, I would say is about 90% concerned about the vertical relationship, not horizontal. Whereas Tai Chi is 99% concerned about the horizontal relationship, not vertical. The reason is simple. Tai Chi was originally a very high-level martial art, used in war, used for combat. And unless someone's jumping out of a tree, most fights are happening in the horizontal plane. People attack you from the horizontal plane. That's why Tai Chi, even though it uses internal mechanics, operate on the horizontal plane. Whereas Qigong operates on a vertical plane. When you're doing meditation of any sort, whether standing, moving, or sitting, you're mainly working on the vertical plane. Even if we take out the advanced work of spirituality, and we only talk about the basic stuff off the lower energy boost, even then, in Taoism, we're working on a vertical plane. The main idea is to connect to heaven and earth. Like a tree, the soil goes into the ground and absorb energy and also give waste. And then the branches and the leaves extend upward at all times. If you look at a plant, right? Hello. If you look at a plant that's shaped like this, it's not like this. It's a vertical relationship. It's always reaching for the sky and reaching to the ground. It's primarily a vertical relationship because it's a power container. It's absorbing nature's energy, right? And they don't absorb it from this plane because the source is here and here. So you absorb directly from the source. That's why Qigong works on a vertical plane. And it's more powerful that way as an energy battery charge. If you're looking at using the energy you have gathered, then it's in a horizontal plane because that's where humans live. So I hope that kind of clears up a little bit about the relationship of Qigong and Tai Chi. In fact, really good Tai Chi masters, I would say 8 out of 10 would usually say, if you want to get really good Tai Chi, do some post-training and Qigong on the side. So I hope that answers that question. Then the next one, what is Heaven Mountain? Heaven Mountain is one of the 9 sacred mountains of China. It's not really a mountain as in one mountain you can go to. It's more like the Canadian Rockies. It's like a mountain range. It's really, really big. And China's here, Russia's here. There's another country, I forgot the name here. And Heaven Mountain Range is around here. It's in northwestern China. It also covers other countries. That's how big this mountain range is. And Heaven Mountain is a Taoist sect as well as a name of a Qigong system or internal cultivation system. It's complete in the sense that it contains sitting, standing, moving, all of it, and sitting down Qigong. The main idea is to move so you can stand. You stand so you can be strong, so you can finally sit. You sit so you can heal your emotions and repress memory. You heal so you can finally get to the top and merge with the Tao. It is an original Taoist system, probably as old as you can get. The reason is, unlike other lying down, moving, sitting, and standing systems of Qigong, it doesn't emphasize that you're doing anything. It emphasized that, you're too stupid. The Qi teach you. The stuff is coming down, you're absorbing it, and it is moving you. You're not moving it. That paradigm is usually from the Zhou dynasty. Because all Zhou dynasty practice that scholars has found in archaeology in terms of scriptures are all non-doing. If you read the original Neiyi, or if you read the hints found in Lao Tzu Dao Te Ching, it's all about Wu Wei, all about non-doing. If you look at the Han Dynasty scriptures, most of it was about doing, internal alchemy. Very similar to other doing tradition like Kundalini Yoga, where you open one chakra or center at a time until you finally emerge. You're constantly doing stuff, collecting new techniques, going through different stages, many, many methods, many, many visualization. Whereas in a non-doing tradition, there are no stages, no method, no techniques, nothing to chase. You're just returning and dissolving directly, like an ice cube dissolving into the ocean of Tao. So non-doing traditions are the original Taoism in order to merge with the Tao. Later Taoism have to work on one step at a time until finally at the highest level, they finally allow you to merge with the Tao. So it's a more indirect way. It doesn't mean it is not as good. It just means some people need to do a bunch of stuff before they can finally emerge. And some people have the personality where they can merge right away. They can do the original version. When you ask about Heaven Mountain Qi Gong, one of the distinctive features about it is you to dumb the Qi teach you, which means you're not doing anything, it is doing you. That alone signifies it comes from the original transmission or paradigm of Taoism. That's why I say it's one of the original Tao. It's also a martial tradition. It has its own martial art. It's it's amazing. I never learned the martial side of Heaven Mountain because when I was really sick, I requested my mentor and friend Steve Smith to only teach me the spiritual and the physical healing part of it. And I'm very happy because it really helped me out. However, just by practicing the Qigong side of it has completely changed my martial art 360 degrees in terms of speed, power, strategy, tactics, everything, right? So if you want to know more about Heaven Mountain Qigong, I want you guys to go to thelittledojo.com. It's the website of Master Steve Smith, who's the chosen inheritor by Fook Yin. And Fook Yin was the grandmaster of the Heaven Mountain tradition. So I hope that answers that questions. And I think that's it. Okay. All right, guys. So we have a new class coming up in the student library. And the student library is part of the Qigong program and adamchanlive.com. You can go check it out. And the new class coming up in a couple of weeks is going to be more sitting and as well as lying down Qigong. Very good for people with insomnia, right? And the usual program have everything. It has the standing, sitting for power boosting, all the sitting in the chair in lotus position for emotional healing and spiritual work. It comes with a student forum and student library as well as many things. But instead of boring you with it, you can just go check it out. It's adamchanlive.com. All right, guys. See you next time.